Good morning and welcome back to the Broadcast Retirement Network. I'm Jeff Snyder and this is BRN AM for Wednesday, March 24th, 2021. And here are our top stories. The great wealth transfer. What are the implications for future generations? And what are the opportunities for advisors and how do they build a resilient business? Well, joining me now to discuss this and a lot more, Haley Wilkes and Howard Crockett III of New York Life. Haley, Crockett, great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us on the program this morning.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's great. And Haley, I want to start with you because let's break down for the audience this wealth transfer that is presumed that will happen from baby boomers to Gen X, my generation. There's a lot at stake here in terms of transferring money, but also opportunity for those financial advisors watching the program today.
Yeah, so first, thank you so much, Jeff, for having us today. Let me hit you with a couple data points that will tell the story of what we're on the cusp of experiencing from a wealth distribution perspective. Over the next 25 to 30 years, the silent generation and baby boomers are expected to transfer around $68 trillion in wealth to their heirs. And there's over 200 million people in generations X, Y, and Z. So this generational wealth transfer will really create an opportunity for a financial advisor community. As for Generation X, the group we're going to focus on today, between 2032 and 2036, so just 4 years, they will own 98% of that wealth transferred.
Wow. I mean, that is absolutely significant. Crockett, I want to come to you because, I'm a part of Gen X. I think I mentioned at the top of the show, and I have parents who are retired or thinking about retiring. Let's talk about Gen X consumers and maybe some of the implications when people of our generation, or my generation, Gen X, are saving and planning for their retirement future.
Yeah, Jeff, look, each generation will face its own landscape of challenges, and Gen X is no different. Often referred to as the forgotten generation, this is a group that has endured a lot of micro and macro shocks. Gen Xers have been shaped by financial storms like the dot-com bubble and the 2008-2009 financial recession. Compounding that situation, many Gen Xers are members of what's called the sandwich generation. Those responsible for the care, financial care, medical care, even the emotional care for both their growing children as well as their aging parents. This has stressed their ability to plan and save for retirement. A recent study by New York Life looking at how COVID-19 was affecting the sandwich generation found that those who work with a financial professional tend to feel much better prepared financially. All of this is important context for financial advisors servicing this market. To better support these consumers, we recommend deepening your understanding of their unique needs, fears, dreams, and money habits, particularly as it relates to investment risk and one's appetite for financial guidance. Now, of course, not every person in a particular generation will share the same beliefs, but research shows us some noteworthy similarities in values and in behaviors. When it comes to one's financial security and the desire to create added peace of mind for a financially stable retirement, we believe strongly in the value of human guidance from a trusted financial professional.
And I would agree. I think no one should really go this alone unless you're like some kind of genius. I mean, you really need help, and a real genius. You need help and guidance. Can you elaborate a little bit more on this, though, Crockett? In terms of working with an FA, what that means, maybe working with an FA within the same generational cohort?
At New York Life, we see that one's age and life experiences impact how they work with financial professionals, their preferred style of interaction, and more. We've developed a deep understanding of the generational cohorts and believe this is an important foundation to build a generation resilient business. For example, New research points to an increased demand for human connection in financial advising in those under age 50. As a matter of fact, Jeff, 40% of investors in their 40s, so that's you and I, plan to increase their reliance on financial advisors. And at the same time, they also seek some automation in investing services. This demographic demonstrates the need for support sorting out competing financial responsibilities. But they don't always get as much attention from financial advisors as those who, look for clients who have already amassed significant assets. This research tells us that Gen Xers see value in a strong, advice-oriented relationship, and it underscores the fact that advisors don't need to wait for investors to have already accumulated substantial wealth to begin cultivating those relationships.
I totally agree. And Haley, I mean, this begs the question, what do we, as a Gen Xer, what should we be looking for in an FA and in a financial advisor?
Sure. Well, that's an excellent question. And a lot of what Crockett alluded to, we recommend that folks engage with a trusted financial professional who works with a reliable company that has a solid track record offering a range of financial solutions that can be tailored to one's unique needs. It's all about being there for the people when they need it the most. So here are some questions that we suggest people ask themselves when choosing a financial advisor. Does he or she really listen to your unique circumstances? Do they understand your financial goals and aspirations? Do they provide you with a perspective upon which you can make good decisions about your financial future? These are just a few questions that people should really just ask themselves when looking for a financial advisor.
Yeah, really good direction. And women in particular have very unique needs, I would think as well, Haley. What are some thoughts there in terms of women and what they should potentially be looking for in someone to help guide them along their financial journey?
Yeah, well, women across generations represent a very powerful segment of the market. So understanding their journey with financial planning and retirement preparedness is key to any financial professional's ability to better serve those consumers. It's important for financial advisors to understand that women are actually key decision makers in their families and are set to inherit roughly $30 trillion in wealth over the next 40 years. At a higher level, we must recognize that women often have a different financial reality than men. So we, for women, we're typically the caregiver in the family, often working different or reduced hours, all of which impacts our ability to save for retirement. In fact, 4 times as many women as men left the labor force in 2020 by September of last year. So that just really highlights the devastating impact COVID-19 had on an already vulnerable population. And the simple truth is that women outlive men, which means we need to be more financially secure for more years in retirement because we're living longer in retirement.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I'm thinking about my mother and my stepmother and all the women that I know and helping them, guide them to a successful retirement future. Well, guys, I want to take a very quick break, but when we come back, we'll talk to both Haley and Crockett about the opportunity for financial advisors in this market. So if you're an FA in particular, you're going to want to stay tuned right here on BRN AM. Imagine a new television network that will make you richer, healthier, and in control of your financial future. This network is for the policewoman in Nashville, Tennessee, the baker in Dubuque, Iowa, the teacher in Lexington, Kentucky. We want to make the idea of savings and retirement culturally relevant. But what do you see as a defining issue of the midterms, especially for the smaller businesses? I mean, they are the lifeblood of the American economy. Featuring exclusive interviews, current affairs, and docuseries. 33 years old, you retired early.
The philosophy is money only matters if it helps you live a life that you love.
But you got to start thinking about retirement as soon as you get in.
The Broadcast Retirement Network will drive very high engagement with premium partnerships. So this isn't retirement and savings for your parents or grandparents. This is for all Americans. And we're going to change the way you think about money. Welcome to the next frontier of retirement and savings. This is BRN, the Broadcast Retirement Network.
Are you stuck with a low credit score? A credit report and score that's causing you to be denied credit or pay higher interest rates than others for the same things? Then do what Terrence did and call Credit Repaired for your free credit evaluation to help restore your credit.
I started thinking about buying a new house, and my score wasn't where I needed it to be. I called and spoke with one of the representatives, and we just had a good conversation, and I liked what he was saying.
Just one call for his free credit evaluation was all it took to start back on the track to repairing his credit.
I'm seeing the deletions and I'm getting the report, so I know something's being done. It does make a difference to me.
All it takes is one call to get started.
Credit Repair has given me a second chance to have a better credit score.
Don't let a low credit score hold you back another day. Do what Terrence did and make the call for your free credit evaluation.
Call 800-819-4152. That's 800-819-4152. Again, 800-819-4152.
Welcome back. We're talking to Haley Wilkes and Howard Crockett III of New York Life. Haley Crockett, thanks so much for staying with us this morning.
Thank you.
Yeah, Crockett, I want to come to you because this, as we've been laying it out, this is a huge wealth transfer, a huge opportunity for all the financial advisors out there who are working with families, working with individuals. Break it down for us. What does this mean for them?
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. I mean, this massive transfer of wealth provides a tremendous opportunity to serve the needs of investors and to help them achieve their financial goals. The biggest question I have for financial advisors today is, are you prepared to attract, serve, and retain the next generation of clients? Have you built a generation resilient business? Do you understand the unique needs of these groups? And if not, why not? Now is an absolute time to develop tools to engage with prospective clients, to show your value before they're even thinking about needing you.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is an opportunity of a generation, of a lifetime. Haley, I want to come to you because I'm sure that you have some suggestions for financial advisors to build a resilient business. So it's not just focused on one generation, it's going to last for the test of time. What are some of your suggestions?
At New York Life, we developed a comprehensive practice management program that provides a host of resources to help advisors prepare themselves and their businesses for what lies ahead. As Crockett mentioned earlier, we see great value in becoming more knowledgeable about the beliefs, values, the goals, and cultural priorities of all the investors that we work with. So we suggest deepening your understanding of different generational groups while, of course, not purely adhering to generational stereotypes. Every client is different, which makes this work very rewarding. You have to get to know someone and what they really care about to build trust and work together to map out a strategy for them to achieve their goals. Financial advisors really need to brainstorm the adjustments they need to make in order to take on a few of these clients in the coming year and look for new ways to connect. So what we suggest is now is really a good time to conduct a digital audit of your website and social media presence to assess how you're showing up. For example, is your social media profile up to date? Are you posting content that's relevant and compelling for different audiences? For many of us, this is actually a relatively new way to market ourselves. Also, check if your firm's approval shelf offers socially responsible investment options. Look for sponsorship and networking opportunities that align with new wealth holders. Look for a junior partner who could provide some insight and help you reach a younger target market. We also encourage financial advisors to see the planning process through a different lens. And what I mean by this is to be effective with clients that span generations. It's important to support clients even when they think differently about their finances than their parents or grandparents did. So what's more socially, whether it's more socially conscious investing or a different appetite for risk, sometimes this requires tailoring your approach and keeping an open mind.
Yeah, really, really great suggestions. Crockett, I'm a big fan of examples, and I know our audience loves to hear case studies. Do you have an example or two about it, an example of what an advisor did to kind of do what Haley laid out?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as far as that's concerned, I think a great place for advisors to start, and something that I've seen really help financial advisors prepare for this wave of inherited wealth, is to take a disciplined approach and do our self-assessment survey about the risk and opportunities for one's business. Because by taking a hard look at your current approach, you'll identify areas for improvement. For example, I worked with a financial advisor who hadn't yet started cultivating relationships with the client's children and grandchildren on a consistent basis. We discussed some ways to deepen those connections, and with one long-standing client, he ended up hosting a Zoom call for 2 adult children and his client so that they could ask questions about 529 plans and college savings. It was a great meeting and a great step forward in fostering a closer relationship. Now, small steps like that taken today can go a long way towards tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree. The hardest thing, Haley, is to get started. What's whether it's working out or learning a new hobby or learning to play guitar, it's that one step. So what's one step that an advisor could do today, right now, to get themselves prepared for this seismic shift in wealth?
Yeah, great question. So I suggest the very first step is that the advisor just start by taking an honest look at your book and take stock in the relationships that you have. Also, familiarize yourself with a program like ours at New York Life that provides the resources you need to face what's coming. So check out the New York Life microsite that we have to discover a complete toolbox to make this all much easier for you.
Thanks, Haley and Crockett. Great to see you. Thanks for sharing your perspective.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that wraps up this episode of BRN AM. Have a topic of interest, someone you think we should talk to? Then drop us a line. And don't forget, for all the information in retirement markets, technology, personal finance, so much more, check out our daily newsletter, The Morning Pulse. We're back again tomorrow. So until then, I'm Jeff Snyder. Stay safe, keep on saving, and don't forget, roll with the changes.
Are you being audited and do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Is the IRS threatening to take more of your money? Don't fight the IRS alone. The Tax Doctor is here to help you negotiate your tax bill and reduce your stress. The IRS can freeze your assets and seize your bank accounts, but you can stop these IRS actions. The Tax Doctor will work with you using our years of experience to represent your case to help you get the best resolution under the IRS guidelines. Help is here to deal with the IRS to reduce your stress. We've handled thousands of cases, so we know what we're doing. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, do not call the IRS alone. Call a Tax Doctor now for a tax emergency analysis.
Call 800-224-6439.